I was delighted to read today a description that Jerome Nadal, one of the Jesuits who were instrumental in promulgating Ignatius's thought and the constitutions and the beginnings of the Jesuits, uniting them and giving them a vision that was rooted in Ignatius's life. But this expression he used in relationship to Ignatius was sapienter imprudens. Sapienter imprudens, a Latin phrase, and he knew Ignatius's mind perhaps better than anybody else in his biography. He knew very, very well, because he had actually known Ignatius and rejected Ignatius in Paris. The expression means wisely unwisely, or wisely unwise. And he says that's the way God directed Ignatius. And I was delighted to read that, because I've always thought of prudence as kind of a pale shadow of the rest of the virtues. And I think I get that a little bit from the audacity and the boldness of Ignatius, because what Ignatius did is he was wise, yes, and so he found a way to communicate this desire to love God above all things through the exercises. And he was very, very grounded in getting people to receive the formation they needed, so that that would be impressed on their souls, on their minds, their hearts, in every way, so that the fundamental thing for them would be to serve and to love God. But the lack of prudence, the imprudence, was in how to put that into effect. In other words, to not follow the same rules that the world might follow, to not look for the same certainties and the same insurance, the same sort of safety, because the gospel automatically takes you into a different way of living. And so if one's too careful, one doesn't do in the gospels, do what the gospels seem to invite one to do. Love is almost always imprudent. Why would one commit oneself to one single person for the rest of one's life? You know, that's imprudent. Why would one ever have a child? It requires so much. One's heart begins to live outside of one. Imprudent, you know. Why would somebody decide to follow Christ in the religious life? Why would the disciples give up what they had to follow Jesus? Why would any of us take time each day, that valuable time, and to pray to God? It's imprudent, but it's very wise at the same time, because it allows us to find our home in God. And God's home is not in this world with its rules. God's home is in this world with a heart that beats in union with God and discovers the mystery of God all around us. And it leads us to make very wise and very imprudent decisions. Things we prepare ourselves for in order to give ourselves more to God, and then we look at the world around us and say, I have new rules. They're the rules of love, the rules of Jesus. St. Ignatius knew that. Nadal saw that in him. So may we all have that same sort of sapienter and imprudence at the same time. That's the wisdom of Ignatius for today.